Welcome to another edition of the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. Guess what? This will be my only video for this week for WWE, as they taped it all from Mexico over 2 days' time, just like they do on Monday and Tuesday for the regular. So there will be no live action this week on WWE TV. But first, here's some very brief WWE news, as they have applied to register the trademark WWE Supercharged, which sounds like it could be a new TV show, possibly on the WWE network. They have also applied for Afterburn, which was one of the WWE syndicated shows that now only airs on international markets. I believe I noted a few weeks back WWE has been discussing the idea of bringing Booker T back for a short feud, possibly with Intercontinental Champion Cody Rhodes. And also on Twitter, his brother, Goldust, Dustin Runnels, had also said that he may return from when he returns from his injury, that he wants a shot at the Intercontinental title, and he wants it back because he held it once before. He can do it again. So, will it be the Battle of the Crossroads versus Shattered Dreams? We'll wait to see what happens. Okay, and what may be a sign for Booker T's return to the ring, he has been advertised by WWE for several upcoming SmackDown tapings. Beginning on November the 1st, WWE usually don't advertise their announcers for tapings. Well, they did. The official website of Florida Championship Wrestling has added Jake Carter to the roster page. Well, that's his stage name for WWE in FCW. He is the son of Jesse White. If you're not familiar with Jesse White, Jesse White's his real name. Wrestling character, Vader Time. And with Big Van Vader, that's his son. He signed a developmental contract with WWE in April, following a tryout at the organization's developmental facility in Tampa, Florida. White, age 25, originally committed to the University of Oklahoma and was touted for the National Football League, but retired following a hip injury. He then followed his dad's footsteps to the world of professional wrestling, as they have tagged in some other indie feds. The WWE has announced the SmackDown television show will air live on November 29th on the Sci-Fi Network, and the show will also be rebroadcasted in its usual time slot on December the 2nd. They've done this one time before. Surprised WWE isn't doing this a week earlier to avoid running the show during the Thanksgiving weekend holiday to give the talent some rest. Live show will be held in Charlotte, North Carolina, Flair Country. More details on WrestleView.com. While doing media in Australia, CM Punk stated that he recently turned down a WWE movie role during his contract negotiation with the company. He added that he was offered the role in the company in the movie No One Lives, and thought it would have been interesting. But it was offered at a time when he decided he was going to leave wrestling. Stephanie McMahon felt that Punk was perfect for the role in playing a 30-something scumbag with a dirtbag good looks and soulless eyes. And that source was from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Former WWF Hardcore Champion Joey Abs turned 40. That was on Sunday. Now it's Monday, and I'm doing the report real late. The official theme song for WWE's Vengeance pay-per-view is Make Some Noise. Put 'em up. by the Crystal Method. WWE will tape this Monday's Raw tomorrow, being tonight's show from Mexico City, Mexico. No matches have been announced yet, but guess what? I'm going to give you the spoilers in this video coming up, as they expect the card for Vengeance to be finalized. It was noted this past week WWE wanted the Mexico tapings to be a big deal with lots of promotion on WWE TV before this week. However, there wasn't much fanfare or promotion on this past week's Raw or SmackDown program. Well, they did film some of it for this week's taping as well. And WWE has introduced the first induction into the WWE Hall of Fame, none other than Mil Mascaras, as I will shortly tell you. And the details will be shortly. Okay. There wasn't much, okay, that was before Raw or SmackDown's program from last week. Sources expect WWE to go all out with a Mexican theme on Monday night's show, as Alberto Del Rio will be returning home as WWE Champion. This will be the first time a Raw has been taped in Mexico, unknown for sure. WWE Insider Twitter page has stated that Jim Ross is at the Raw taping, and there was a video shown on, I think it was Ringside News, if you can go there and watch the video, or it was on ProWrestling.net, which will air on Monday's show. There were rumblings that this could happen late this week. That at the time that they were not planning to bring Raw back to TV, but the company is reacting to the feedback and the ratings decline that occurred during last week's show. But you got John Laurinaitis, formerly known as Johnny Ace, still not believing, because his wrestling character was a short guy that wrestled with Shane Douglas as a tag team with the Dynamic Dudes, if you were familiar with Johnny Ace's character. Okay, well, at least he's got a job with WWE. And here's the spoilers for Raw for tonight, October 17th. Thanks to Jimmy for following with the WWE Super Show spoilers from last night, Saturday night taping in Mexico City. These will air this coming Monday on the USA Network. John Laurinaitis opens the show to much heat and announced that John Cena and Jim Ross tag team versus Michael Cole and WWE Champion Alberto Del Rio for later tonight. Laurinaitis talked about JR's firing here. Winner will get to pick a stipulation for the WWE title match at Vengeance. So I guess he said he was just released from his announcing duties, maybe for 1 week. Well, see what happens. Next up was Mark Henry, Christian, and Cody Rhodes defeating Sheamus, Randy Orton, and John Morrison. There was a brawl after the match with Sheamus versus Christian and Orton versus Rhodes. Orton and Rhodes is official for made that match for Vengeance. Eve Torres defeated Natalya. Beth Phoenix versus Eve for Best Divas title was announced for Vengeance, so that match was added. CM Punk defeated The Miz during the match. Laurinaitis came out to show something to Triple H, who was at ringside or was with Punk. Laurinaitis ordered Triple H away from ringside after the match. R-Truth and Miz beat down Punk. Vicky Guerrero brought out Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. They will face Air Boom for the WWE Tag Titles at Vengeance, was announced. Zack Ryder defeated Jack Swagger. After the match, Swagger and Ziggler beat up Ryder up until Mason Ryan made a save. Dolph Ziggler defeated Mason Ryan by DQ. Ryan got himself DQ when he was beating up Ziggler and wouldn't stop after a referee counted 5. Sin Cara versus Sin Cara in a mask versus mask match was announced for SmackDown. JR and John Cena defeated Michael Cole and Alberto Del Rio in the main event. Cena hit the Attitude Adjustment on Michael Cole, and Ross put the ankle lock on him for the win. Del Rio versus Cena at Vengeance will be a last man standing match per John Cena's orders, since he won the right to make the match. Okay, thanks to Josh Lacona Sanchez, who attended the Raw show in Mexico and sent her following report. Raw started off with Laurinaitis walking to the ring. He said he's not happy being in Mexico and he doesn't feel comfortable. He talked about what happened last week with Triple H, CM Punk, R-Truth, and Miz. They played a video from last week's showing Michael Cole laughing because Laurinaitis fired JR. Laurinaitis then announced the main event would be Alberto Del Rio and Michael Cole versus John Cena and JR. The winner will decide the stipulation for Del Rio's versus Cena at Vengeance. Mark Henry, Cody Rhodes, and Christian defeated Randy Orton, Sheamus, and John Morrison after the heels won. They continued with the brawl outside. Cody tried to escape backstage. Orton followed him to the back. Christian went to the crowd. Sheamus followed him also. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes was announced for Vengeance pay-per-view. Match number 2, Eve with Kelly Kelly defeated Natalya with Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix versus Eve was announced for pay-per-view. CM Punk with Triple H beat The Miz with R-Truth. During the match, John Laurinaitis walked down and showed a document to Triple H. He told Triple H to leave the ringside area, and he did. After the match, Miz and Truth attacked Punk. Then they showed a video of Stone Cold Steve Austin, so for some reason. Could be a new movie he's doing or release. Next up was Vicky Guerrero walked to the ring with Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler. Vicky announced that Dolph and Jack Swagger will face Air Boom for the tag titles at Vengeance. Match number 4, Zack Ryder beat Jack Swagger. After the match, Swagger and Ziggler attacked Ryder. Mason Ryan made the save. And he said he wanted to face Ziggler tonight, which was made for the next match. Ziggler beat Mason Ryan by DQ. Ryan attacked Ziggler on the ropes, and then the referee counted to 5 to disqualify Ryan. It was announced to the live crowd that Sin Cara will meet Sin Cara in a mask versus mask match at SmackDown. John Cena and JR defeated Alberto Del Rio and Michael Cole. Cena hit the Attitude Adjustment on Cole. Ross applied a submission hold on Cole's ankle, the ankle lock. And then Cole tapped out. Very similar to their last meeting. Cena chose to make his title shot against Del Rio, a last man standing match. Okay, the dark match main event. John Laurinaitis walked out and told that he will defend his title tonight against Cena. Cena beat Alberto Del Rio by DQ after Ricardo Rodriguez another interference. Cena hit an Attitude Adjustment on Del Rio and Rodriguez, and then celebrated with fans. He said they made history with the first Raw taping in Mexico. He said he respects Alberto Del Rio, Sin Cara, and Rey Mysterio, and finally said thank you for coming. Also the same person, Josh Lacona Sanchez, attended the same show for the Superstars, and this was the only report that I had seen anywhere online for Superstars that is back on WWE.com. Justin Gabriel defeated Tyson Kidd. Gabriel won with a 360 splash. This may have been the dark match, but I didn't see anything from the SmackDown report either for SmackDown version. Match number 2, Santino Marella beat Heath Slater. Santino won with a Cobra. Match number 3, Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne defeated Michael McGillicuddy and Drew McIntyre. Well, I guess they broke up the tag team of Michael McGillicuddy and David Otunga. Okay, so I guess he's in in-betweener now. Maybe some good news, maybe some... Okay, a word of this past Friday's WWE SmackDown only had 50 minutes and 17 seconds of in-ring action, up from the previous week. I think there was only like 26 minutes the previous week. Dark main event after the Super Show taping in Mexico City. Saw John Cena beat WWE Champion Alberto Del Rio by DQ. When Ricardo Rodriguez interfered, Del Rio and Ricardo caught attitude adjustments from Cena to end the match. Cena cut a promo afterwards and talked about Raw making history to Mexico. Cena put over Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, and Alberto Del Rio before closing the show. And then WWE will tape October 21st an edition of SmackDown from Mexico City as well on Sunday, which was simultaneous with Bound for Glory. With the final hype for next week's Vengeance pay-per-view. Confirmed for tonight's taping, Mask vs. Mask with Sin Cara vs. Sin Cara. Wrestling legend Mil Mascaras is also advertised for tonight's tapings, as well as his nephew, WWE Champion Alberto Del Rio. If you didn't know, well, Alberto Del Rio, Dos Caras, is the nephew of Mil Mascaras. Taped for this week's NXT New Rookie Challenge. Match is taped for from tonight, Mexico City, were Yoshi Tatsu versus Tyler Rex, Caitlyn versus Maxine, Titus O'Neil and Percy Watson versus JTT, and Derek Bateman. There also was a rookie challenge between Bateman and Titus. I thought they had to give the results. There weren't no results for that. Thanks to Jim for following spoilers from tonight's SmackDown, who was also at the Raw program. It will air Friday, October 21st. Alberto Del Rio opens the show and talks about it being a historical SmackDown. Del Rio isn't up to wrestling tonight. Teddy Long comes out and announces Big Show versus Del Rio for tonight. Mark Henry defeated John Morrison with a World Strongest Slam. Teddy Long announced Sheamus versus Christian and Zack Ryder versus Dolph Ziggler for the U.S. title at Vengeance. The tag match has been dropped. Wade Barrett defeated Daniel Bryan and they said the reporter said it was a great match. Sheamus and Zack Ryder defeated Christian and Dolph Ziggler. Zolf Ziggler in an excellent tag match. Yeah, I intentionally said that. Ryder and Sheamus were both over with Big Time. Cody Rhodes came out with his backers to cut a promo on Randy Orton in their match at Vengeance. Randy Orton came out and ends up hitting an RKO on one of Cody's workers. Sin Cara Blue defeated Sin Cara Black in the Mask vs. Mask match. Original Sin Cara used the La Mystica for the win in a great match. Both were over with the crowd. After the match, Black Cara's mask had to be removed by force. Another report suggested that Blue Cara won by submission. Mil Mascaras came out to a big ovation. Triple H was joined by Carlos Cabrera in the ring to make a special announcement for the 2012 Hall of Fame first induction. But they appeared to be an off-camera segment. WWE Divas Champion Natalya and Beth Phoenix came out to talk about Vengeance pay-per-view match. Beth's opponent Eve Torres came out. Eve ended up hitting Beth before fleeing the ring. Big Show defeated Alberto Del Rio by DQ in the main event after Ricardo Rodriguez interfered. Mark Henry came out, pissed, but Big Show stopped him from entering the ring, and they stared each other down to end the show. And that ends my WWE Week report. Thanks for viewing, and I will see y'all I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Well, y'all shall see me report on TNA's taping for this coming Thursday.